So, a measure in music is a unit that holds a specified number of beats played at a specified tempo. So, the measure block in TuneScope is used to group sequences of notes that fall within a measure. So, in our block here, in our measure block, we have two lists. We have a list of D3 and a half note. So, we have a note and a duration. And then we also have a note and duration over here. And so, when you click on the measure block, you'll see those note pairings reported back. And so when you're thinking about making measures to make songs, you need to remember that when you use notes in 4/4 time must add up to one whole note per measure. So in our play tracks block, when you go to drag, you'll drag your tracks into the play tracks block, and then you'll see that you'll need to select a time signature. And so again, so the notes in 4/4 time must add up to one whole note per measure, and a whole note has 4 beats. So you could have a combination of many different types of note durations. So like here, for example, we have 2 half notes. So 2 half notes will make a whole note. 4 quarter notes will also make a whole note. So any combination of durations that add up to the whole note will satisfy the requirements for a measure in 4/4 time. And so if we can play this back. And so that will be what our 2 tracks will sound like together. And so when you're thinking about experimenting with note durations and measures, a good block to keep in mind here is beats in measure. So the beats in measure block reports the number of beats associated with the notes currently in a measure. So for example, C4 and E4 in this case, they're both half notes, they'll add up to 4. And so when you click on this block, it'll say 4 beats. But for example, say you have a measure with C4 as a half note, but E4 is a quarter note. You'll see that 3 or 4 beats is reported. So this is a good way to check yourself to make sure that you're meeting the requirement of having 4 beats in your measure. So in this case, one more beat would be needed to complete the measure. So you could add a quarter note, or you could increase this back to a half note like we had before, so that you get 4 or 4 beats as your result. So again, very good way to check yourself before you start dragging your measures into tracks. And so here is a completed track that has two completed measures inside of it. So this is a piano track, and so note that each measure in this case adds up to a whole note. And so we can drag this into a play tracks block to hear it. And I have one right here, and we can drag this in. So this also has a bass drum track. So let's hear what this sounds like. So it's the beginning of Over the Rainbow. So measures are a building block of songs. All songs, usually have measures inside of them. So this is the way to begin building melodies in TuneScope.